Well, good Wednesday evening, everyone. Wanted to get on and do a video. We've had a little bit of a quiet period for severe weather over the last couple days, but definitely looks like May is going to get off to a pretty quick start here. Wanted to take a look at the next couple days, specifically tomorrow, Thursday. Definitely could see some severe weather across Oklahoma and Texas, maybe up into Kansas as well. But looks like possibly Friday, Saturday, Sunday into early next week could see again, same southern plains area could see several days in a row of some severe weather threats. So, what we're looking at here is just the visible satellite imagery over the continental United States. And I think a couple things that we can see here we've got some storms firing off across northern Mexico, across kind of the Fort Stockton, West Texas area, as well as up in the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. So, this is kind of the day before the day, kind of some marginal storms, but all of this is being fueled by all of these clouds that we can see really coming in from the Pacific and off the coast of Mexico. This is bringing in a lot of good upper level flow as well as a lot of moisture that's coming in not only from the Gulf here, but also from the Pacific. And then you can see kind of this swirl right here. This is going to be our main storm system out here that is going to start over these next couple days to start moving east. With that, it's going to bring increased flow, which is going to give us enough of that upper level wind energy to get that lift and that forcing that we need for thunderstorms and specifically for that severe weather threat. So, this is kind of what we've got in play here. And this is going to be kind of making its way and going to be relatively in a similar position for the next couple days. And so, when we look at that longer term weather pattern here over the next couple days, let's look at the European model here. Let's talk about kind of continental US, and then let's look at our kind of jet stream flow here. So this would be showing basically kind of what we're looking at in the upper atmosphere. So right now over the southern plains, anywhere that you see these white colors, not a whole lot of upper level flow here. We can see that belt of flow coming off of the Pacific and where that moisture was coming, where we saw those clouds moving over Mexico. And then we've got this big system off of California with this spin in the atmosphere. Let's watch what happens as we move forward in time here over the next couple days. By tomorrow, when there is a chance of severe weather, we do have better flow up in the atmosphere around that jet stream level. This is showing about 45 to 50 knots of upper level flow across much of kind of northwest Texas. So this is why we're going to have a chance of severe weather across Oklahoma and Texas tomorrow. But then we can also see that flow starting to move eastward, coming onshore in California, and then moving eastward. And then as we move forward in time, we can see that it continues to kind of gradually move east. But over these next couple days, we're going to have this consistent pattern of some better upper level flow in the jet stream here, kind of moving out of the southwest US and then kind of coming over the southern plains region from Texas, Oklahoma, and kind of up into Kansas. And this is what's likely going to give us enough of that forcing up in the atmosphere to create multiple days of a severe weather threat here moving forward. And so, as we see kind of moving forward, this progresses into we're already looking at into Monday of next week, kind of sticking around into Monday, Tuesday, and then another round, maybe kind of Thursday timeframe of this next week. And then after that, possibly seeing a little bit of not much activity. Again, tough to know with models this far out, looking a week or two in advance. They're not super reliable. But certainly over these next couple days, we can see a lot of this flow moving over the southern plains region here. And multiple days of severe weather is what I would expect here moving forward. Now, when we take a look a little bit closer at what to expect here over the next day or two, let me change kind of locations here. Let's talk about the Southern Plains. And this is that HRRR model that we often take a look at here. So what I want to do first off is look again at, if we look at our surface level and look at that moisture, so those dew points. And then let's take a look here. I don't know if I can get this to load. All right, so here's our dew points. And when we move forward in time, let's go to let's see. Oh, I'm on the wrong model run here. That might be part of the issue. Let's go to the 18Z model run here. Seems like the website's being a little slow here. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're on kind of the mid-afternoon update. This is looking at dew points. And let's go into tomorrow, kind of mid afternoon. So let's say this would get us to about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So what we can see is we've got a lot of moisture really all the way up into Kansas, Oklahoma, and much of Texas. We've got, upper 50s, even 60-degree dew points here. We've got kind of this dry line setting up out here to the west. And then that kind of in the afternoon, evening will start to move east. And that should give us enough forcing here to see storms fire off around this dry line and then push towards the east, whether that be towards Oklahoma City or towards Dallas. So really no concerns with moisture. That's going to be plentiful, and we're going to feel it in the air here over the next several days. And we can kind of see this progress. And honestly, moisture gets even better into Friday and then into the weekend as well before we start to see that pushing off. We've got 70-degree dew points all the way up to near the Dallas Fort Worth area here on Friday afternoon. So that's why we're going to see multiple days of severe weather. This isn't just going to be a one-day event here. When we look a little bit at some of our instability products, we always look at that surface-based CAPE or that kind of storm juice that's in the atmosphere. When we look at tomorrow afternoon, again, kind of around this 5 p.m. time frame, we see that there is some of these green colors, this blue. It's a little bit capped, although I don't think we'll have an issue with that given the moisture. But we can kind of see where that sets up here across kind of western, southwestern Oklahoma, across northwest Texas as well. So we certainly have plenty of instability that's going to be in place here, kind of mid to late afternoon here tomorrow. And again, another thing that we typically will kind of take a look at is where is that kind of what direction are the winds coming out of? And so will that give us a line of storms or some individual storms? And we know our dry line sets up about like this. And then these little black things are our wind barbs. And so winds are going to be almost directly parallel here to our dry line, which means it will likely have more isolated storms. They won't tend to form a line right away. So that can sometimes increase the severe weather threat. I think tomorrow we're going to be looking at more of a large hail, a gusty wind type of an environment. Can't rule out a tornado or two, but we'll see kind of how the environment takes place. Some of the better flow maybe up here across Kansas and Oklahoma to get enough of that turning in the low levels to get the tornado threat. So we'll see across southwest Oklahoma and kind of north Texas if that ever kind of materializes. But certainly does look like we have the ingredients in place for some of that severe weather. And then let's take a look at the precipitation here. Let me get this off. And then let's take a look at our kind of simulated radar here. And so if we move forward in time, again, this looks at 4 p.m. on Thursday. So we get to kind of 5, 6 o'clock or so. We've got simulated a couple storms kind of across the northern hill country out towards Junction. Some storms up here in southern to southwestern Oklahoma, a couple in Kansas, maybe a couple kind of maybe storms. Maybe the models are trying to show a storm kind of here just west of Fort Worth around the Decatur area. And then as we move forward again, this is 6 p.m. We go to kind of 7, 8 o'clock. These storms all kind of push east of the I-35 corridor, at least up here to the north, maybe a little bit still to the west of I-35 down here south. So models aren't necessarily saying Dallas-Fort Worth is the prime target here on, again, on Thursday. But I think certainly within the realm of possibility that we could get storms anywhere from around the Mexico border down here all the way up to kind of southwestern Kansas. We're going to kind of have this arc of this dry line here. And so storms will be possible really all across this area on Thursday. And again, the main threats are likely going to be possibly large hail, damaging winds will be a potential threat here tomorrow. And definitely could see an isolated tornado or two where we get enough, maybe either boundaries in position, gives us a little extra spin, or maybe we get a little bit more moisture and stability in place than the models are picking up on now. But definitely looks like Thursday we could see severe weather. And then again, that's likely going to continue into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into early next week as well. So I'll try to do a couple more videos in the next couple days to keep us up to date with what the kind of what areas are going to be under the gun. But certainly I would keep kind of yourself tuned in to the National Weather Service, the updates, forecasts from meteorologists, kind of just to stay in tune. I think with an environment like what we're seeing over these next couple days, I think the threat level will tend to be kind of a last minute deal. This isn't some sort of a massive outbreak that, you can see days in advance and there's kind of a no-brainer. These are going to be what we call mesoscale days, which tend to mean that the ingredients kind of come together kind of last minute. A lot of times it will depend on what happened the day before or the night before. So if you get storms and clouds that hang over from maybe the previous day, that can have an impact, both positive and negative, sometimes on what severe weather chances might happen on that day that you're looking at. So a lot of times it's hard to forecast and really model out super far in advance with these types of things. But it doesn't mean that they can be any less impactful. We could still see tornadoes and some significant severe weather, even on some of these kind of late arriving mesoscale days, because we've got that forcing. We've talked about moisture is going to be more than sufficient. And certainly we're going to have warm enough temperatures to have a lot of that instability that's going to be building up in the atmosphere. And if you're across Texas and Oklahoma, you're going to be feeling that the next couple of days. Temperatures in the 80s or 90s with dew points 60s, 70 degrees at times. It's going to feel like you're wearing that air, and it's going to feel like thunderstorms are very possible. So definitely keep your eyes kind of to the sky. Have a plan in place before that storm arises or that warning is issued. And again, certainly try to keep you updated here over these next couple of days, and hopefully a couple good chase opportunities here coming up. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.